Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on leechess.org, and I just got paired up playing a 15-0 game. Actually, check that. This is a 15-2 against Master XXL. Our first time playing. Let's go with D6. See what we get. Open Sicilian. Knight or queen? I don't know if I really have a good system against queen takes. Could bring the knight out and gain a tempo against the queen. But there's usually that bishop b5 follow-up. And white is prepared to give up the bishop for knight. Anyhow, we don't go down that road. Open Sicilian land. Let's head for Najdorf and see what white throws at us with this move 6. A big moment in the game. Many different options for white. Bishop e3, bishop g5, h3, bishop e2, f4, bishop g5 it is. Okay. Well, probably go with e6 here. Yeah, let's go with e6. Form a small pawn center. If bishop e3 or bishop e2 is played, I would give some consideration to e5. But now that the bishop is putting pressure on my knight, I really don't want to weaken d5. So queen to d2, okay. I guess white is preparing queenside castle. I'm not sure the move order details here. I'm kind of just tossing around bishop e7, knight d7, queen c7, and b5. Which one of those should I go with? I don't think I want to give black the option to damage my structure. If I play queen c7, maybe they go in for the bishop for knight exchange. Excuse me. So I'm leaning more towards bishop e7. That seems pretty universal and good. Yeah, he doesn't have so many options anyhow. So let's make the move first. We know we're going to have to make. Okay. It's interesting. Not quite sure what the idea is. Okay, maybe I am sure. G4 expansion. I'm pretty sure white is going to go queenside. So let's see. Probably queen c7 here. Yeah, let's go with queen c7. Or, yeah, I'll go with queen c7. For a moment, I'm thinking the knight might jump in here and have something against this square. Like after bishop, if the bishop takes my knight, I have to be a bit cautious of how I recapture in some cases because of a knight landing on b5, with then a follow-up of going into d6 with check. So I'm leaning towards knight d7, connecting knights, preparing to meet bishop takes knight with knight takes. And I believe from there I'm going to look to play b5. Yeah, I think I could get this move in. Let's do this. There are always these tactical ideas that white has with jumping this knight into f5, or maybe this move first. Something revolving around these two squares, especially d5, because if the knight is able to get there, and I'm not able to capture him immediately with a pawn or a knight, he's hitting with tempo. Okay. Am I going to run into some problems if I play b5? I think what white could go in for are a variation where they give up a knight and get 3 pawns if I play b5. So I'm wondering if I should first prep this with rook b8 and only then b5. I have to be a bit careful because my knight on f6 is soon to not be stable. After this bishop moves g5, and he has to find a new home. Maybe rook b8 is fine. On a bishop move, I could think about knight e5 into c4. I don't think I want to allow a sacrifice on b5. And then, grabbing 3 pawns for the minor piece. Yeah, not really so much of a fan of that. Not sure if it's right. I already chewed up a ton of time here. In a game that is likely to turn very sharp, I'm not going to be castling on the same side as white, that's for sure, after this last move. And this is one of those interesting positions where I don't know that my king stands... I don't know that he's any safer castled than he is on e8 at the moment. I should also mention that this move ran through my mind, but I believe white would follow up with bishop takes knight, and then bypass my h-pawn, and then even go one further with g6, and successfully undermine this structure. I cannot allow that to happen, as that weakens the d5 square, ultimately. Okay, so they're going with h4? Should I move my knight now, or play b5? Maybe b5 isn't a bad idea. Let's see. b5 with then maybe knight b6 into here. Or knight e5 into there. I think I'm going to go with the b5. Yeah, let's do it. This was pretty much my intention, so if it's the wrong idea, it's the wrong idea, but I played rook b8 with this this follow-up idea, so I might as well just swing the bat completely around. Maybe I could put this rook on b8 to use, actually. Linked with a knight on c4, after its capture, this would open up the b file. And I'm thinking I should maybe go straight in for that. Knight e5, or knight b6 into c4. However, of the two, I think I like the more central post. It's more forward, it's in the center. And it actually is within checking distance. I could maybe take this piece out if I need to. It's important to know I am prepared to, let's say, sacrifice my rook if they do some sacrifice here, although I don't think that that's going to be the case now, because this last move, bishop e3, bishop d3, is masking white's major pieces from seeing d6. So let's see what Master XXL is coming up with. Certainly have a tsunami of pawns here, creeping closer towards my king, who is not yet committed. We have a loose piece on d4. These are in sharp positions, things we want to take note of. Might be a very useful tempo against this guy. Queen c5, although I think bishop e3 would be a fine reply. Sometimes if the king was castled over here, you might see a piece sacrifice on g4, especially if it hits on a bishop that's on e3 after the smoke clears. At any moment I could play b4. Notice if this pawn was on a3, this would help open up the king side. So now, as mentioned, I have to be prepared to go elsewhere with my knight. I don't think this is such a bad, I think G5, Knight H5, I'm fine. So I could get one of the bishops, pretty much, if I want to go for that. I don't want to take this light square bishop, he's, I don't know, a dummy. I think I just want to go Knight C4. And I think they take my knight out because he's the more valuable of their two bishops. And in that position, I think I capture with the pawn, just to get some play on the b file. Let's go with that. Yeah. Maybe I even have an option with my knight on f6 when challenged. Might play to d7 or play to h5. It's a big decision. If I go towards h5, I'm really looking to halt White's progress against my king. Halt White's progress with expanding on the king side. So I'm surprised, actually, a bit surprised that there's a think here. So I guess they're still weighing whether or not, okay. I thought they would have to do that. And I think this really makes a lot of sense to open up the B file. Because now moves like Queen B7, Queen B6. Just another heavy piece on the B file is immediately throwing a strike at B2. Which is not the easiest pawn to defend. Moreover, this bishop can spring right to life with a d5 push. Let me get to the more direct stuff. Suppose g5. Where am I going with my knight? I think I want to go into h5. I don't like this idea of g5 knight here, and then, as I was mentioning earlier, these tricks of maybe knight f5, knight d5. I think I could rely upon this knight's post on h5, give him some support. White no longer has that light square bishop, and sometimes this would be a concern. g5, knight h5, a bishop can be disruptive to a knight on h5. So I don't think I would mind devoting one piece over here as defense for my king. Maybe what White is considering is first h5, so that on g5 I no longer have this square. So these are the two moves that I'm guessing White is considering right here. But you know what? Some of their attention clearly has to be on the b2 square, of course. Okay, they're going straight in for g5. Yeah, I really don't see what kind of good squares my knight will have. Soon e5 is going to be taken away if I go knight d7. Okay, knight h5. Don't have very many options. Let's go with it. I don't think I'll be able to work out which one is really better. I think it is. Just my intuitive feel tells me it's knight h5. So now there's already a pretty serious threat. Queen b7. I could have maybe considered that on that last move, but okay, queen. Are they not going to do anything about queen b7? How do they defend b2? Queen b7, knight a4, bishop d7. If they have to play b3, there's no way that could... I don't know. Queen b7? What's the story here? How does b2 get defended? I'm guessing b3 has to be played soon, but... Queen b7, knight a4, bishop d7, or I guess on queen b7 it's just an immediate b3. In which case I just castle, bishop d7, the other rook to the c file, and I have all my rooks just Doing great things. Well, I don't see what's wrong with it. Threatening mate in 1. Yeah, let's do it. It's either B3 or knight A4. I think it should be B3 here. Knight A4 just helps. It accentuates my own development. I get to develop with tempo. And then they really have to play B4. A knight on A4 is just asking for some trouble. So I don't see any attack against my king. It takes this type of advance, I believe, in order to successfully get at my king. But it feels like it's 2 or 3 tempi too slow. Okay, so they're going with B3. I should probably just castle here. No need to even take that pawn. I don't think I could do without castling here. Queen B4 into A3. Yep, I'm going to castle, bishop D7, rook C8, and think about D5, bishop B4. I guess F4. Gotta go with that pawn. Advance. Maybe I could go bishop D7, F4, bishop D7, F5, and then just rook C8, ignore this pawn. F4 is the only move I'm thinking about. My knight is then a little bit vulnerable. Wonder if I should insert G6. Just to stop this break. Might be a fine defensive move. Yeah, I think I see a way where I could actually devote some attention. Normally playing on making pawn moves on the side where, in these opposite side castling cases, normally something to shy away from, but I think I could invest these tempi and it'll turn out to be worthwhile. Because I don't see an immediate attack. It's still going to take me some time here. Bishop D7, F5, rook F8. G6 concerns me then. I think what I want to be prepared to meet is on an F6 move, a bishop F8 move. So I'm not quite there in time. I'd really like to have my rook on C8. That's certainly the more active square. Can I get that in? Because the other threat is F5 and then F6. On F6 I want to back up. Also, G6 is purposeful because it defends my knight. I think I should go for that. Give some security to my knight. Make sure the G file does not open up. I'm going to invest some defensive moves for my king. Their queen gets too crazy, and the knight on C3. Well, I might as well chalk him up as a bit of a loose piece, as he requires the defense of the queen. Okay, expected. And now, I guess rook here, actually. Yeah, because my other idea, I want to be able to play here. D5. Yeah, let's go here. Initially, I was thinking rook E8, but why not rook here? So if they play F6, I back up here, and we have a case of some fixed pawns. There's really no getting at my king. This move does not scare me. Normally a pawn with such great depth should be a concern, but I don't believe in this case it is. So, If white isn't careful, like if this rook comes over to the f-file, seeing that there's nothing more maybe going on with the g-file, I might be able to jump in here and pick off a pawn. Well, let's see. Maybe this rook here. My queen has pressure on e4. I could improve my queen with this, but also I get forked big time. Let's not do that. Could they think about something here? They probably should, because... Yeah. Okay, should I take on b3 right now? Or maybe I should get... No, I'm not going to do this. I want to keep my queen defending here. And even this maybe I should do. Get my bishop on this diagonal. If this move's shut down, then I'm fine with coming back. Yeah, I think I like bishop f8. Let's get that in. I have some pretty good coordination. Very, very important I maintain my pawn here. As tempting as this, well, I don't know. Maybe some of you viewing this right now might have played this many times already, but this weakens d5, and I need to keep that guy out of there. So I think a nice improvement is here, maybe baiting white some into playing f6, and I'll happily return. My queen is maybe a bit overloaded, in a way. Well, let's go with this. Should I take on b3 first? No. Let's get on the long diagonal. Even if the queen gets here at some point, my king could always kind of duck, get to h8. On this capture, I'm not even sure which way I would No, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure which way I'd recapture with the h-pawn. New square for my king, and I keep defense over e6. What I don't want to have happen is my rook on f8 and f6, because then he's playing it to h8, and there's no prospect, really, for him to activate. So on f6, I want to come out here, so that one day he can be liberated by way of d5. About a minute advantage. Not many moves have been played, but sharp position. Okay, this knight is now protected. Guess they're looking to challenge this guy. Is now the time for takes here? I play a5, a4 even. Well, they're not prepared to challenge my knight. Let's go with this. No, I didn't even consider the bishop moves. Oh, interesting. Oh, you know what else I didn't consider? I could maybe take twice here. Yeah, and I probably should now. I give up this square to the knight, but I am winning a pawn, and maybe I could actually just work around that knight. Let's see. Let's not spend too much time here. Yeah, I'm going to try to show that I could work around that knight on d5. I'm winning a pawn here, but let's see. They take my bishop. What am I going to do to recapture? Probably take with the knight. Certainly scary. A knight on f6 scares me. Interesting defensive setup that white is going with here. Play bishop e6. Let's go with the knight. My control over f5 kind of squashes their influence along the f-file from seeing further squares f6, f7. I am up a pawn. But here comes that knight. I think I should capture now. Let's make sure that b file opens up. Yeah, I think my attack is coming faster. It's just a check here, and there's even a pawn push. I think I'll take. Let's go with this. Break down that C2 B3 structure. I have a check here. I kind of go to the corner. Where else am I going to go? Here, takes with check. Knight here, king in the corner, h5. I think I take with the knight. Fiend Kh8 knight. Oh man. Hopefully he's a good defender. Alright, let's continue taking. If this knight goes in that direction, it's one less attacking piece I have to worry about. Pretty sure I am faster here. I think my rooks are doing a better job. Let's see. A queen stopping this check. Starting to even out some on the clock. If the knight takes, bishop e6, maybe even bishop e6 still. Yeah. Let's go here. Yeah, definitely here. If he takes him out, then yeah, it's a definite bishop move. I'm almost certain this is #1 move. Because it's helping to get one more piece involved. Soon to have every piece working except this guy. But that's the one that I'm going to devote for defense of my king. And once I'm on this file, I'll be looking for an improving type move, some rook lift. White's been stripped of their defense, their pawn defense for their king. Knight f6, I'm running to the corner. I have some pretty easy follow-up move, rook f8, so he's basically all in. I guess they're going to try for h5. Still quite timely. Well, I'm going to be taking here, hit the rook, and preparing a bishop move. I could even allow this. 1, 2, 3, it takes 4 moves before you're at this point. Notice a rook right here would be mate, coupled with that knight. But that's a lot of tempi. They're down on time now. So I'm looking at rook c8. He's not needed on the d file anymore. Looking just crash through on the b pawn, actually. How are we doing material-wise? 3, 4, 5. I'm up a pawn, even. Okay. Let's give this check. Could even take here. I don't know if I want to open this up. Where is he going? Okay, that knight is a pretty big pest, I must say. Take here. And then rook e3. Knight here. I'm afraid of queen d4. Just take. Oh, well, I could try to get on the 7th with rook here. Yeah, let's hold my ground here. Let's get active on the 7th like this, maybe. King is certainly walking a tightrope. Heading towards the center, is he? I guess. Maybe king here. Maybe I do something like knight h5, king here. Knight takes knight, I take here. Force the king back. I guess. And then get back over here. Okay, their first rank is weakened some. Am I missing something? Why are they not recapturing that rook? Okay. Insert the check first, I guess. Or rook h1. King b2 and then queen here. Their queen is unprotected. I'm going to go with this. And then queen a7. Threatens rook a2, pins the knight to the queen. My back rank is vulnerable. Yikes. Scary. Let's go here. So I was talking about a rook on h2, but now some heavy piece back here coupled with that knight, and I'm dead. Oh, they just hung their queen. Okay, just take their queen. And I could drop my rook back. I take the knight if king takes. I just forgot that I was on their queen there. I just devote him to defense of my back rank, even though I already have my bishop there for that. 9 seconds. So maybe they're just playing on some out of momentum, I guess. Actually, what I should be doing is just getting rid of this knight. That way there's no back rank stuff against me. I could take there with check. I have this square covered with my bishop. Let's just take him out. And then get a flight square. Here next. And they're down on time. There was quite some resistance there in that that ending. I started to, as soon as one rook was off, I'm thinking, am I going to be able to crash through? That was a really, really tight game. Let me go into the analysis. That was a good game, man. Okay. As mentioned, Sicilian Najdorf. Sharp position. I think I shared everything I wanted to share during the game. I think I'm okay with actually going straight in for just checking out the evaluation. This is... I'm not so sure about rook to b8. I guess we'll have a look at rook to b8. But I don't know. I think it was an okay played game. I'm not sure if there are any tactics missed. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's put it on. Let me just go back to the start and just kind of get a feel. Just doing a quick blunder check here. On the typical slight edge for white. Bishop d3. Let me put the arrows on as well. This is a pretty universal move. King to b1. But anticipating this idea with the rook on b8, maybe the king is standing better on c1. It's always a tough call. You never really know for sure where the king stands best. h5. This is something I pointed out that I wanted to kind of stay away from. Did it not just pop up h5 at one point? This was my fear. Takes... Oh, okay, if I take with the knight, then there's g5, and then g6. Okay, but I don't have to take with the knight. Okay. But maybe this was even one move sooner. Yeah, like right here, actually. This was the first moment where I was actually thinking about h5. No, I'm mistaken. The first moment I was thinking about h5 was when g4 was played. Why is this not a good idea? Because of this capture. And if I'm taking here, I'm not threatening to take the knight after g5. Take with the knight here, and then here. These are very, very important details. The structural change really weakens these extremely important center squares. d5. This structure is undermined. Now I have to do what? I have to devote a piece to defending this pawn. And that's an inconvenience. So I want to be careful of that. It was a thought because it looks to maybe pry open the h-file for some rook activity, but it's not quite working out here. Okay, so I stayed clear of this h5 idea. Instead, I went with rook to b8. Let me point out this sacrifice, b5. They're not showing it here, but white could go in for this. It's not really working out. Why is it not working out? Because of this. Okay, so maybe white would first need, let's say, a king on b1 before I would have fear of some piece sacrifice on b5, because in the end I'm getting at that a2 pawn if white goes in for that sacrifice on b5. Okay, noted. I could have still played b5 here without rook b8. However, as played, this was not like a waste of time by any means. Tied in with the knight jumping into c4, he was brought right to life. So we got rook b8 in. It's suggesting bishop takes knight. I guess this is a pretty big turning point right around here. Suggesting king b1 once more instead of the bishop move. Knight e5, bishop takes, g5, f4. To work around a knight or not? Suggesting to work around it. Well, then h4, looking for this. Notice how white has really advanced their king side. And we're looking at the g file. We already have that direct connection between the rooks, so g6 incoming, bishop pair versus the knights. Tough call. I don't know. Okay, well, bishop d3 was played. I'm jumping into c4. It likes knight takes bishop. Ugh, I didn't want to do that. It's fine with knight c4. It still likes white here. Capture with the queen? I guess is okay, but it prefers the capture. I have the b file. And now king b1. I guess this is already a very important moment. Yeah. So this helped me some. It's clocked in at 0. I guess the idea with king b1 is to vacate c1 for defensive b2. No? Well, queen c1 is an option. Never played king b1. Went straight in for g5. I was thinking about h5, because now I don't have this square on g5. h6? Yeah, maybe. I certainly wouldn't be playing h6 if I was castled. One of the benefits of keeping the king on his home square is, in, well, specific cases like this, should g5 happen, I could take and now just claim, well, I don't need to castle in order to activate my rook. I already have my rook activated. There is still some concern that there is that disconnect between the rooks, but When we castle, we look to get the king safe and get rook activity. I at least have one of the two in this position if there was a g5 push after capture. I castled very late in this game. So we have the b file open up, knight h5 is in, and did I organize my pieces well? From this point on, I played first queen b7, b3, now I castled, here comes f4, it wants to go straight in for d5. And bishop d7 is another suggestion. Not best with g6, but I thought this was time well spent. Now it wants to go with d5. Rook there, and this is a move. I don't think we can trust the computer evaluation with this move. I think it's putting too much weight on this pawn having great depth. I think that this is fine for black. Could slowly build up, get these moves in, and yeah, I don't buy it. I don't believe we could really trust f6 in this position because it shuts down completely the king side, and I have no fear of, let's say, the f-file opening up and getting at my king. I can always produce a square for my king on h7 to fend off against any back rank mates. So yeah, I don't really buy f6. Queen f2 is much more human. I'm just reorganizing here. My bishop there. Yeah, and this is the first moment where I could have captured on f5, but I didn't see it. It's forgetting that there's not enough support for f5 anymore. Or, you know what? That's probably said wrong. I don't think I ever really... Yeah, I was never even of the mindset to make captures on f5. Primary reason is that I just see the weaknesses it's creating. However, right around this point, I can be winning a pawn with that capture. I didn't see it. I went on with a5. Bishop d4. Now I take. Now things are really heating up. Likes knight f4. Yeah, I guess in a way this was a help. Capturing my bishop because I get to reposition my knight and reinforce f5. Think about jumping into e6. It's tough to really work out the differences here. There's knight f4, bishop takes bishop. Sharp position. And now it's, I guess I'm just getting there first now. a4. Just a growing advantage from here on out. Anything missed? Yeah, it's there. I guess there's a lot of different winning ideas. This was one of my concerns. And I'm actually a bit, I was seeing things. This is what I was looking at. Rook here, and then if I do this, I was fearful of some queen move here, getting at my king. I guess I could do whatever, and clearly this is illegal. So I could have gone in for this capture. I was spending quite some time, but in the end I figured just let it sit. Rook takes. Check. And then I'm just trying to make the queen be a queen, really. Very tough to try and find a defense here. Multiple checking moves. Rook, queen on a3. And got the pin that they overlooked there. Maybe that would have been a fine defensive move, I don't know. Knight here. Well, no, I'm on the rook as well. And I guess it's just nothing that you could do at that point. So where is really the improvement? I guess it's really the g5. Shy away from g5 here. King b1 might be a tough move to go with, but it allows for this idea. Maybe even the queen moving and devoting a minor piece to defending b2, keeping the structure still. Keeping the structure at home. I don't know. This is a sharp game out of the Sicilian Najdorf. What more to say? Yeah, I don't know. Tough game. Feel free, as usual, in the comment section below to leave any feedback to this video. And as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.